Python, easy way to modify array in parallel. The question might sound easy, but being new to parallelization in Python I am definitely struggling. I dealt with parallelization in Open for C++ and that was a hell of a lot easier. What I need to do is modify entries of a matrix in parallel. That's it. Thing is, I can't do it using the simple joblib library. This code would work when the number of jobs is 1, so the array after the call of main is all 2's, but it wouldn't when it actually becomes true multiprocessing. The array stays the same after the call of main. The main problem I think is that I can't return anything useful with the parallel function. I also tried to have the array in shared memory, but I couldn't find any information on how to do it with joblib. Any suggestions?
Using only the standard library, you could use shared memory, in this case an array, to store and modify your array. Let me suggest you some modifications to your procedure. Make a list or a schedule of all the changes you need to make to your matrix. To make it clear, I am going to use an embedded tuple, and a function to map these changes. Now you can use a pool to map the modify function to the changes.
Generally, there are two ways of sharing data. Shared memory, multiple processes, in your case. If you use the threading backend in joblib, you wouldn't have any problem with your current code, but in Python don't execute in parallel because of the GIL, global interpreter lock. So that isn't true parallelism. On the other hand, using multiple processes spawns a new interpreter in a new process, though it still has its own GIL, but you can spawn more processes to do a particular task, which means you have sidestepped the GIL and you can execute more than one operation at the same time. The problem with this is that processes don't share the same memory, so if they're working on a particular data, they basically copy this data and work on their own copy, not some global copy where everybody writes to like threads. That's why the GIL was put there, to prevent different threads from unexpectedly changing the state of a variable. It's possible to share memory, not exactly sharing. You have to pass the data around between the processes. Using shared memory is in the joblib docs, quoting the docs. By default, the workers of the pool are real Python processes forked using the multiprocessing module of the Python standard library when n_jobs not equal 1. The arguments passed as input to the parallel call are serialized and reallocated in the memory of each worker process. What this means is that by default, if you don't specify that you want the memory to be shared among the number of processes you have, each process will take a copy of the list and perform the operation on it, when in reality you want them to work on the same list you passed. With your previous code, and some print statements added, you'll understand what's going on. Running the code, we get From the output you can see that the operations are indeed carried out but on different lists, with different ids, so at the end of the day there is no way to merge those two lists together to get your desired result. But when you specify that you want memory to be shared between the various processes, you'll see that the output is quite different, as the processes are all working on the same list. Output. I'll suggest you experiment and play with the multiprocessing module proper, to really understand what's going on before you start using joblib. This URL. A simple way to do this, using the multiprocessing module from the standard library would be But note that this doesn't modify my underscore array, it returns a new list.
이 풀 유한테 출시 후 플리즈 컨시더 서브스크라이빙